Hey, it's Tuesday, April 2nd. Welcome back to the Pluce. Great to have you here. Thank you for tuning in to the Damon Brew Show, brought to you by Ike's Sandwiches. And, we got a new graphic for the Dubliner that we'll be showing you a little bit later on since they've come aboard as a sponsor. But welcome. Again, great to have you here. Thanks so much for stopping on by. And we got a few things to get into tonight. A few things to get into today that we watched last night together. I watched some women's college basketball last night. Little synopsis on that when it's all said and done here today. Obviously, we had Giants and Dodgers, and tonight we get a really good one served up in the NBA because one of the best shows in the world, Luka Doncic, is coming to town. It is Luka against Mr. Curry tonight at Chase Center. Huge three-game stretch for the Golden State Warriors. Mavericks, Rockets, Mavericks. And you are basically battling with both those teams. Obviously, the Houston Rockets have been closing a real gap on the Warriors for that 10 seed coming up from behind. It was the Dallas Mavericks that just ended their 11-game winning streak, and now here is Luka Doncic in all of his probably going to be named MVP level glory that he's rolling into Chase Center with tonight. Luka's just incredible. And I remember doing segments on the radio about this and people saying, Damon, like, you're way too head over heels for this guy. Like, you're on the Warriors flagship. Why don't you calm down? No, because what we're watching with Luka Doncic is really one of the single greatest starts to any career any great player has ever had. What is he, in year 6 now? I mean, it's been a while that Luke has been around this league. He's averaging 34, 9, and 9 this year. He's basically a triple-double per game. He leads the Mavericks in points, rebounds, assists, and steals. His 34 points per game are nearly 4 points more than anybody else in the NBA. He leads the NBA in scoring with 34 points per game. He's third in the league in assists. He's second behind Steph Curry in three-pointers made per game. He's dropping nearly 4 a game, and he is just one of the all-time move at his own pace type of players. He's so under control. When you're watching tonight, that's what I want you to keep an eye on. Just watch Luka move. Just watch Luka move around the court. He's never in a hurry. He is never rushed. He is never really running or sprinting very hard. He is just under control and at his own pace. And with his own pace, he completely dictates the pace of an entire basketball game around him. Is Luka some great defender? The answer to that question is no. But offensively, he's one of the more gifted basketball players we have ever seen in our lives. And just to kind of let you know that that is not an opinion, it's sort of drifting into fact. He has 44 30-point triple-doubles. He has 44 30-point triple-doubles, which ranks third in NBA history already. He's only 25 years old. He's got more 30-point triple-doubles than LeBron, than Giannis, than Jokic, or James Harden. All of those guys own a combined 9 MVP awards. I think Luka's about to get his first. He is an unbelievable basketball player. He does things at his pace, at his tempo, at his style, at his leisure, all over a basketball court. He's basically unstoppable. And then, Kyrie Irving might be like flat earther ridiculous, but he's a basketball genius as well. And the two of them make the Dallas Mavericks one of the more interesting watches in all of basketball because things can either go incredibly well for them or they can kind of like spin apart too. They're not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but they're really interesting. And the matchup we get from just Steph Curry, and as unique of a basketball player as he is, and Luka Doncic, as wildly, singularly unique as he seems to be, it's styles make fights. And we got ourselves a really good fight, I think, brewing tonight at Chase Center. Again, with there's only 3 guys in this league that I think have a real claim to be MVP this year. It's Jokic, of course, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Luka Doncic. That's the list. It's going to be one of those three guys, and I don't think Gilgeous-Alexander is quite ready for it yet, where, Luka could have won this, might have won this, but got edged out. I think it's going to be Luka's year. I really do. He's special, man. He is really, really good. And again, just watch the pace. Watch that guy not even take a deep breath because he's breathing hard all night long. He's going to control the entire game, just kind of schluffing through it. I don't know how you get away with that. In a league full of athletes who are just looking to pick your pocket and out-athlete you anywhere you can go on a court, it just doesn't even affect Luka. Just backing everybody down from like 30 feet out, just backing dudes down, just big butting his way around the court, big framing his way all over the place, lumbering to his spots. And when he gets there, it's over, basically. It's over. He is so good. It's gonna be a tough one for the Warriors tonight. And we are at a sip of the day right there. That was perfect. I got to tell you, I'm not going to lie. I'll never lie to you. I'm working tea. Short on coffee in the house. So working a little tea for this show today. I'm not proud of myself. I'm never going to lie to you. But we're not working any coffee. We need another delivery coming from my boys at Phil's real soon. Real soon. Okay. So we got Luka coming to town. We got a big Warriors game tonight. 3 big Warriors games back to back to back. One's at Chase. The next 2 are on the road. I'm going to let you know that I've been in touch with Raymond Ritter about a little sit down and a one-on-one with Trayce Jackson Davis. So hopefully that's something that we'll be bringing you in the very near future here. Want to talk to Trayce about his rookie year, about the NCAA tournament, about the state of Indiana basketball. So that might get into a little bit more of a personal conversation than some of you Warriors fans want it to become. But I'm looking forward to that happening this week. We're going to be talking to Maury Brown of Forbes about everything going on with the A's and their ridiculous just plans for whatever their plans are supposed to be for. He is all over how much of a charlatan Dave Cavill is. And as always, if you're highlighting what a charlatan Dave Cavill is, you're my kind of people. Last dive bar, I see you. I see you. A couple of things, though, before we get to really the baseball portion of this show. First of all, lost in kind of all the sauce of the Warriors coming back from a 4-1 road trip where Draymond did play a really good game. He just played a great basketball game the last time the Warriors were out there. And, just before that, I'm doing videos about what a pain in the ass he is. And Draymond is all those things. He is a basketball genius. He is a massive child. He is at the center of the Warriors when they're at their best. He is at the epicenter of the Warriors when they are at their worst. Draymond Green, last game out. I just noticed this. He tied Chris Mullin for the second most games played in franchise history. 807. Draymond Green, the second most games played in franchise history. I don't know why I didn't see that one coming, but here it is. Draymond, second most games played in Warriors history. Obviously, Mr. Steph Curry is your leader. One of our leaders when it comes to lunchtime, our only leader is Mr. Ike himself. And let me tell you what Ike has got brewing up for you here in the month of April. I tell him, let me know about new sandwiches, because it's one thing for me to tell everyone, go to Ike's, try the catering, order it for your office, make sure you download the app, make sure you're eating your way towards free sandwiches and all that good stuff. But the truth is, nothing sells these sandwiches better than just telling you what he's got. And he's got a new sandwich for the month of April. It's called the THC. I like where this is going already. He says it's inspired by weed maps. Okay, I hope there's a corporate partnership there. I really do. Listen to this sandwich that Ike is rolling out special here in this month of April. It's turkey, creamy cheddar cheese, honey, and flaming hot Cheetos. You knew there had to be an element of stonerdom in there for it to be called the THC. And again, you put flaming hot Cheetos on just about anything, there's some stoner influence there for sure. But that sandwich sounds really good. Turkey, creamy cheddar cheese, honey, and flaming hot Cheetos. I'm going to tell you right now, I would also get that with red onions, pickles, extra Godfather sauce, no tomato, little lettuce, and I would do that on a French roll. I don't get down with a Dutch crunch. It always tears up the roof of my mouth. But I love that new sandwich from Ike's. I got to try that one. So there you go. The THC available this month at Ike's. We're so proud to have Ike's as our primary sponsor. My man's been backing me for almost a full calendar year now. By the way, tomorrow will be our 1-year anniversary of doing live shows at 11. It started all the way back on April 3rd, 2023. And so April 3rd, 2024, tomorrow will be our official 1 year of live shows YouTube anniversary. And thanks so much, Ike, for riding along. We also have a new sponsor. Our friends at the Dubliner, and I told our friends at the Dubliner on West Portal, send me over some signage. So just like Ike here, I can put you up in the graphical corner. Well, I still got to work on that because I loaded the sign, and here's what it looks like. Are you ready for a very aggressive Dubliner advertising on the show? Because here it is. Boom. I haven't figured out a way to shrink it and put it up in a top corner yet. But I'm glad that I can, because we got a little bit to examine here. First of all, I love the train tracks because down West Portal, you got the Muni tracks, so I like that. Foggy nights, foggier mornings, in the history of Irish bars, that's a good slogan. I like that. What I really love, and you know this because I incorporated in my logo too, I didn't even realize that the Dubliner had Sutro Tower in its logo. But there it is. Sutro Tower is part of the martini glass. I don't even know if I want to shrink the Dubliner logo down to put conveniently in a corner. I think I want to rock it in its full glory. Look at that. There you go. So the Dubliner in West Portal, just an awesome bar, great bar. Next time you are bopping around on West Portal, and you really should be. That's just an awesome city, an awesome street in this city. It really is. Dubliner, that's my place. I like that bar an awful lot. I liked them before we got into business together. Now I like them even more. But let me tell you, we're big partying and hanging out at the Dubliner, and we welcome them to the show. And I want you, the next time you walk by the Dubliner, to go in there, order a Guinness, and say, hey, Damon sent me in here. It's great to be in here. Welcome to the Pluce. Welcome to the family. And welcome to all of you. Red Jet Shell, Carl, AJ Cruz, Mike, Padrig. Oh, my God. We got Michelle, Rockin' New Era 84. All the regulars are in here today. Good to see so many of you. It really is. Thank you very much. We got Nathaniel. We got Dale in here. Yeah, we got Big Mac. I mean, all the folks. Chef A. She's getting it done. She's like, I'm working a little today. Got some stuff to get done, but I'm listening. There you go, Chef A. Thank you so much for listening. Your loyalty. Speaking of loyalty, my man Otis, he loves us. There you go. So get that new sandwich at Ike's and go wash it down with the Guinness at the Dubliner. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. So, little NFL news for you here today. I'm excited about this NBA game tonight, though. I really am. I wanted to start with that one. At the behest of my own show's viewership today, I had to lead with a little Curry and Luka. To me, that's number one. How about this, though? Performance pays and kicks in for Brock. So, saw a story on ESPN that, Brock Purdy's paid so little, and some of these guys so overperform the contracts that they agreed to, the NFL actually comes back with a little, hey, sorry, you were much better than what you got paid, so here's a little on the back end. Brock, according to Nick Wagner on ESPN, earned a significant check on Monday when the NFL announced its annual performance-based pay distribution. This year, the NFL compensated players an additional $393.8 million in performance-based pay for the past season. The program compensates players based on their playing time and salary levels with the intent to give more money to players who performed beyond their contracts. Hey, maybe that's what the NFL should do. They should just have everyone agree to come play for one base salary, and at the end of the year, we'll see how you really did, and then we'll pay you. Oh my God, there'd be riots in the streets. I'm actually surprised NFL owners don't try that. For Purdy, Brock Purdy gets an additional paycheck of $739,795, which comes out to 75.1% of his $985,000 base salary that he made in 2023. The additional check ranks as the 24th largest payout over your, contracted salary in the NFL. Now, a lot of these payouts go to offensive linemen who got, drafted poorly and played an awful lot and played pretty well. Purdy just had an incredible year. I mean, who should have gotten paid more based on performance when he just set the franchise record for passing yards and is the first 49er quarterback to go over 30 touchdowns since Jeff Garcia? He probably should have been, paid $3 million in performance bonuses. Baltimore Ravens guard Josh Simpson, though, he took home the biggest total, $974,000 plus to nearly double his salary after playing on a one-year minimum contract. Good for him. So there you go. The NFL, which is forever looking to screw over its players, seems to, with this one measure, try to make things a little right. So there you go. Good news for your NFL players who need a little bit more money. Carl saying, Damon's wearing a Last Dive Bar t-shirt. Hope he doesn't get sent to AAA. So, yeah, I saw that there is a thing going on where Last Dive Bar is identifying players who are wearing like Last Dive Bar rubber bracelets and saying that could be part of the transactions that are going on for the A's, and why are guys being sent back down after good spring trainings, and Estuary Ruiz, where is he? Why is he getting sent back down? Is it because he's got love for Last Dive Bar? The only thing I can tell you is that any other team finds itself in a story like that, I'd say it's absurd. But the A's really are that petty, that pathetic, and actively trying to break their own progress and success that it could possibly have. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the A's did go out of their way to diminish careers and playing time and ability to compete just because they're actively looking to ruin everything about that franchise. It wouldn't surprise me. It really wouldn't. This is why we're going to be talking to Maury Brown a little bit later on this week. But that is just unbelievable. The only thing you need to know about the Oakland A's right now is simply this. This is all you need to know about this charlatan franchise who is run by two guys who are basically baseball evil. The Oakland A's have more errors than runs scored so far this year. 13 errors, 11 runs scored. Their 1-4 record isn't even the worst in baseball, but boy, they're trying. And I got to tell you, I want to give full credit to a fan here. These are not my words. These are words of a fan, some guy I just saw on Twitter. And I just said perfectly. I couldn't say that better myself. So I'm just going to let this fan named Jamal on Twitter have the floor. And I want to read to you a sequence of tweets that he put out about the A's because it's so spot on. There has never been an American professional sports franchise in more dire situation than the Oakland A's in every facet. From current talent to future outlook to farm system, stadium, revenue, morale, ticket sales, TV ratings. I can't even believe it's gotten to this point, writes Jamal. Any commissioner with a spine would have stepped in months ago for the good of the game and forced change. I don't see a scenario where things end well for this regime. I really don't. Even if they sell, they'll sell it to anybody that isn't in Oakland, I bet. Again, there's no happy ending A's stay in Oakland. We do know that John Fisher is the kind of fuck who's going to break his toy and ruin it for everyone if he can't get with it exactly what he wants. He's certainly trying to do that. Are Manfred and company going to sit back and allow 4 more years of this, of empty stadiums, sell the team chants, private social media accounts, players union grievances? How long until anybody says enough is enough? And that is so spot on, Jamal. I wish you were hosting the show today instead of me, because you nailed it. What we have here is the worst owner in the history of baseball, buoyed by the most feckless commissioner you can find of any sport. Rob Manfred doesn't have the galls, the stone, the intelligence, the oomph to say enough. This is enough. Like John Fisher, we've given you 20 years to figure this out, and it is never anything more than a perpetual state of screwing it up. That's all the Fishers represent, perpetual fuck-uppery. Why is this allowed? It's because the commissioner is a piece of shit commissioner, and he's dealing with the worst owner who is the least capable, least smart, least juiced up billionaire of all time. And then the front man for all of it is the organ grinder and the monorail salesman that is Dave Cavill. The whole thing is built to fail. It's doomed to fail. They're going to screw it up, period. They already have. So I guess we'll just sit back and watch them continue to fail in every conceivable way. Meanwhile, down in Los Angeles, Giants lose 8-3 to the Dodgers to start their series in L.A. Look, Keaton Wynn, he did pitch pretty well at the beginning of that game, but the bullpen, that bullpen is turning into a little bit of an early season adventure for the Giants here. 3 hits for Freeman. Teoscar Hernandez went yard. Mookie is just on second base or rounding second base every single time I look up. He is so good. Mookie Betts is just unbelievable. And you just, you look at the Giants lineup, and when it actually puts the bat on the ball and gets a barrel on some things, you think to yourself, well, it's not only is it not that bad, it could actually drift into the lane of pretty good. Let's see where it goes. And then you just measure it against the Dodgers lineup. And it's like, oh my God, are you even playing the same sport? Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, and Will Smith accounted for 8 of the 9 hits and 5 RBI last night for the Dodgers. Their top of their lineup is frightening. It's frightening. Conforto did go yard, his first of the season there. Good for him. Logan Webb is going to be back at it with his ERA of 3. He gets the call for the middle game of the series in Los Angeles, and LA is going with a bullpen game tonight. So we'll see what that looks like. But there you go. Giants 0-1 against a much better Dodgers team. We already got that on record, and that has happened. Another thing that I want to get to that is just, San Francisco Giants, I can't help you if you're not going to help yourselves. And the Giants seem to be committed to just ruffling the feathers of their fan base unnecessarily, like at every turn. And I really don't understand it. Is this light fluttering a little? It feels like this light is fluttering a little. Or am I having like a stroke? Hold on. I think it's just fluttering a little. No? Yes? Let me get that down. Is that better? No, all of a sudden I'm an oranger. All right, well, it's a Giants segment, so I'll be a little oranger right here. Katie Dowd, sfgate.com, said that last Friday the Giants intended to permanently remove fans' tiles around McCovey Cove instead of relocating them as the stadiums do when they, go under construction. Now, obviously, there was a lot of construction out at McCovey Cove. The statue is back, but all of the tiles that fans bought, and normally those are to commemorate family members and deceased loved ones and people who've moved on, passed on. There's a lot of family tributes. Those in a way act like little headstones for some families when they're put around the ballpark, and they were supposed to be, forever fixtures around the ballpark. Well, any team has the right to change its surroundings or its ballpark footprint a little bit. And so big construction has happened. And so the Giants have to take all of these tiles and rearrange them somehow around the statue? Nope. They tried to do it the cheap way, and boy, there was an awful lot of pissed off fan blowback. It's like, hey, you know what? It doesn't matter that Charles Johnson doesn't like Rennell. Everyone else does. Just leave her. It'll be easier to do that. It'll be easier to tell Charles to just drink his Metamucil and fall asleep after an episode of Murder, She Wrote than it will be to convince every single Giants fan that, oh, right, you're going to like this new voice now in here. Okay, so the Giants proposed a digital kiosk. In other words, you can go into the ballpark and access a digital kiosk to see the tribute that once used to be in a public space. So now you're going to need a ticket to go in and see that. You can't just like pull over, walk over to Little McCovey Cove and, oh, there's Grandma's tile. No, you're going to have to be in the ballpark as a ticket purchaser to see this thing that was supposedly purchased by you to commemorate a family member or a loved one and your love of the San Francisco Giants, and it's going to be out on this wall forever. Well, the Giants said that they're now going to find new homes for the displaced tiles because the whole kiosk thing went over like a lead balloon. Fans were outraged, like people were ready for a class action lawsuit. What moron over there thought, yeah, let's take these physical tiles that people paid money for to be displayed forever and just turn them into a digital kiosk. What if I told you we took your grandmother and grandfather's headstones out of the cemetery, but here's a picture that you can look at on your iPhone? Would that have satisfied you? You just say, all right, that's good. Let's do that. Like, what are the Giants doing? What are the Giants doing? Big Mac asking a question that a lot of people are afraid to ask. T, does that even count for sip of the day? It really shouldn't. It really shouldn't. But there we are. It's like, tastes like hay in a cup. So, thanks to that A's fan, Jamal on Twitter, we speak the same language, man. What Rob Manfred has allowed the A's to become is just so pathetic. And is just the telltale sign of poor leadership as you can get. I mean, it's just awful what they have allowed that franchise to become. And again, the Giants are collectively, like by the day, trying to cheapen their own product, either by going with the same shitty food service that like prisons say isn't good enough, and that's what they brought in. They brought in Aramark, which is the same shitty food service that you get over in Oakland. To getting rid of Rennell, to pulling up people's memories and saying you can access them on a digital kiosk now. Like, I mean, how can you have been so good at this for so many years and now you're so bad at it? It's just Mario Aliota's not there anymore and everyone forgot how to be a professional? Or he was the only touch of class the franchise really had, and now that he's not there, you don't have that touch of class anymore? Is that it? Because that would make sense at least. By the way, Major League Baseball got its first no-hitter last night. Ronel Blanco, no-hit Toronto, struck out 7, he walked 2. Guy had a hell of a month in just 1 week. In his last 7 days, Blanco has welcomed a new daughter, made his first opening day roster, and threw the first no-hitter of the Major League season, the 17th no-hitter in Astros franchise history. So that's, again, that guy just had a monster month this week. Let's see, what else we got going on here? Let's see here. What do we got? Oh, here's an NFL story that I missed from over the weekend. A guy who played a big role in altering what might have been a Super Bowl run in year 1 for Brock Purdy is in a new location now. Hassan Reddick is with the New York Jets for a 2026 draft pick. That's it. Don't know which one it is, but spent just 2 seasons with the Eagles, signed a 3-year, $45 million contract. He came home to Philadelphia, and the guy was productive as hell. 27 sacks, 49 quarterback hits, 24 tackles for a loss in those 2 seasons, and obviously he made a game-changing play in the NFC title game that bumped Brock off the field and put the Eagles right into the Super Bowl. But Hassan Reddick is now a New York Jet, which means we'll probably never hear of him again because that's just the way it goes with the Jets. What is going on here? I don't know why this thing is dinging. What's going on? Stop dinging. Freaking computers. All right. So what else? Oh, look at, by the way, Leslie is saying, yeah, I'll have a little THC sandwich on 420 for sure. There you go. Leslie gets down. We knew that. Nathaniel, love the flaming hot, but not sure on a sandwich. Oh, dude, you put a crunchy hot chip on any sandwich. That sandwich usually gets better. Everyone likes a crunchy chip on a sandwich, right? Damon, you need to eat the THC sandwich on air on 420. We could probably do a lot more to celebrate the holiday than that, right? One more year, many more to come. Thank you, Red Jet. Certainly appreciate that. Again, we will, what do we got? Mr. D Boy Deluxe, creamy cheddar cheese and Cheetos? I think I'll pass. Really? You don't like dip? Like, that's what that is. That's cheddar cheese dip and a Cheeto. How does anyone not like that? By the way, Foggy Dan is approving. Foggy nights, foggier mornings. That is a great slogan. Again, if I just had the Dubliner in its tiny little corner up there, we might not have seen it. But oh no, we bring the Dubliner promo to you in IMAX. Boom. Look at that. Foggy nights, foggier mornings. I do. I love the cocktail glass. I'm not going to lie. Love that cocktail glass. But Smiley Dan, thank you very much. He's keeping everybody safe out there. Again, we will get back into Club Pluce here in just a moment. But real quick, not an A's story, but it just shows you that the people who run Oakland really are the least among us. I mean, there are some dimly lit bulbs over there asking for just stupid things. And Oakland, this story makes me just go, you almost don't deserve my help if you're this stupid. On Friday, the Port of Oakland, which oversees operation of the Oakland Airport, announced it was considering renaming the airport from the Metropolitan Oakland International Airport to the San Francisco Bay Oakland International Airport. That's stupid. That's stupid. Why don't you just name, why don't you name it the San Jose Airport? Just really confuse everybody. Why don't you name it LAX North? Or why don't you just, no, has anyone in the history of all the problems everyone has ever had with the city of Oakland, was the name of the airport one of them? I mean, that's just so stupid. Like, what absolute moron sits at a desk all day thinking this will be how I absolutely get attention for my political career? It's the Oakland Airport. And if you really wanted to talk about its official name, it should be the Oakland fucking Airport. That's all it is. It's the Oakland Airport. You'll never be anything. Don't try to attach San Francisco Bay to it. You ain't that special. No one cares. The San Francisco Airport sits in the San Francisco Bay. It might be in San Bruno, but it's called the San Francisco Airport because it's the airport you would fly to if you were flying to San Francisco. The Oakland Airport is the airport that you look to fly to if you're not looking to land in San Francisco. Therefore, don't call it San Francisco anything. The San Francisco International Airport has used San Francisco in its name for nearly a century. So, you know, they got dibs. They got dibs on that. It's the perfect way. So, Port Commissioner President Barbara Leslie, who is clearly on bath salts, says, it's the perfect way to identify geographically where the city of Oakland is. No, it's not. No, it's not. The perfect way to geographically identify the city of Oakland is this town is turning into such a shithole, we can't even have an In-N-Out burger without it being a bedlam of crime and chaos. Like, that's the thing. You don't get to rename your airport if you can't even control the parking lot for an In-N-Out burger. Get your priorities straight, Oakland. Like, I really do. I want to help you as a city, but you're the biggest group of fuck-ups that anyone can find talking about subjects that are just total. Let's rename the airport, said the dumbest person in the world just looking to waste time that nobody should be wasting on something that is that stupid. What are you doing? What are you doing? Seriously, the way things are going, I can't believe you haven't lost your airport. Can't believe the airport hasn't moved to Las Vegas. It's just unbelievable. Again, we can't help you. We can't be reasonable if you continue to come up with just unreasonable, stupid shit like this. You can't be helped. Please put down the stupid and back away. That's all we're asking. So, at the risk of doing damage to my Q rating in the public domain right now, I'll tell you what I watched last night. I watched more women's college hoops last night than any other night of my life. What do we got? We got quarters. We don't just do halves in women's hoops anymore. I watched 3 quarters of that LSU-Iowa game. I had it on. Was I paying the deepest amount of attention to it the entire time? Not really, but, I had it on. And there is no doubt there's some talent on that court. There's a few girls from LSU who can play, and there's one girl from Iowa who can really play named Caitlin Clark, and that girl does have, in the gym range. She is a bucket. I don't ever want to hear another word about Kim Mulkey, the coach at LSU. She's a terrible coach. How do how are you not doing anything to even suggest a defensive effort against Caitlin Clark at all times? There were no adjustments made. She just watched this Caitlin Clark cook her entire basketball team and did nothing about it the entire game. Drew up no new plans, brought no double teams, changed 0 matchups. Dude, this coach who dresses like a tropical bird of paradise wasn't doing any coaching last night. None. And if we're being completely honest, if you really like that game, if you really like the pace of that game, the athleticism in that game, the skill level in that game, I got good news for you. You can find that basketball game any night you ever walk into a JV gym in an American high school ever. The 2 best teams in women's college basketball, Iowa and LSU, 2 of the most ballyhooed programs of the entire year, play basketball that is the equivalent of junior varsity men's basketball, boys basketball. That's what that is. I'm not trying to be rude or mean or nasty about it, but the amount of this is one of the highest caliber basketball games I have ever seen played in my life, that I'm reading this reaction on Twitter. What are you, fucking kidding me? There's nothing about that game, but for a few individual performances, that was some high caliber bastion of elite level of basketball that can only be found right here in this game. The amount of blowing smoke up each other's asses to pretend this girl's basketball game is the greatest thing we've ever seen is just, it's a bit much. It was a fine game. In the vacuum of what was riding on it, it was even entertaining at times. But let us not pretend that we just had the basketball equivalent of Jackie Robinson crossing the color barrier or anything to happen like that. Iowa's women's basketball will vanish from mainstream conversation the minute Caitlin Clark puts on another uniform. That's the reality of this. That's what's about to happen. And now that LSU is gone, we can finally talk about something else in sports. I mean, just the amount of coverage based on what I actually like. I'm watching it, I'm seeing, and it's like just watching any basketball game where one kid on this court is better than every other kid on this court, and that's what we're looking at here. It was fine. But to pretend that I just watched the dream team come together is just, I don't know. What do we have to just sit and just pretend so much? But I don't get it. I just don't understand why. Where is the there to pretending what we saw last night was this revolutionary, evolutionary, titanic moment in the history of basketball? It was an Elite Eight game. That's it. I mean, I don't understand. I don't understand. That is literally any JV boys basketball game ever played. It really is. Not trying to be nasty, not trying to be angry, not trying to be mean. I'm just telling you what I felt as I watched this, and I'm allowed to feel what I feel when I'm watching something. I have to live my honest life. I have to live my own truth. And there we go. I think that was a hell of a show today. I know we had a really short one yesterday. Well, we had to bring Jack out and have a little fun, and we did. But it was a good show today. You ready to hop into a little Club Pluce? I hope you are. We're going to see what you're all chatting about, TikToking about, and all those good things over in the chat. All you good people. We'll see what you got. But in the meantime, let me just say thank you so much for listening to the podcast. Certainly appreciate you being here. Go get yourself a THC from Ike's. Go get yourself a Guinness at the Dubliner. And make sure you're back 8:30 a.m. Wednesday morning for a little wake up with yours truly and Larry Krueger. We'll be right back at it with all your Niner headlines on Wednesday. But in the meantime, this is where we part and bid each other adieu. Sports don't build character. They reveal it. And like that, he's gone. Squeaky disco ball, plug it in. All right, what do we got? Sad story, Otis. I missed anything that was above that. I hope everything's all right with you, brother. Let's see. What else we got going on in here today? Otis is saying that Giants bullpen, it is a concern. I hope they turn it around when Snell and Cobb come back. I mean, well, look at it this way. Neither of those guys are going to be in the bullpen. But, yeah, I mean, you got to get better than what we've seen so far out of some late inning arms. Again, I don't know how Shohei Ohtani's even taking at-bats right now. I don't understand it. Is it me or has that whole thing just gone away? Are we just going to pretend none of that just happened? Kind of like I predicted? Is there going to be any conclusion reached here? I mean, I just don't see it. Can you imagine like a big investigation happens and they actually catch Shohei Ohtani dead to rights and they're going to what? Now retroactively suspend him and pretend all of these at-bats shouldn't have happened? What if he's actually the guilty party in this? Then what? How are you letting him play baseball right now? I don't understand it. Again, Rob Manfred, you're a piece of shit. At least Conforto's having a good start to the year. Look, the Giants are okay, right? I mean, they're going to be okay. Much better? I don't know. Damon, my heart is fluttering a little. Oh, Erwin, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make your heart a flutter. I think that was the light was fluttering just a little. Let's see. Yeah, Red Jets. Like, come on, seriously? Like, now you're getting rid of fan tiles? Isn't that something else? Like, who made that decision? Yeah, this will go over well. I bought this out here so I could stare at it in public forever. Oh, no, wait. Now I got to go inside and look at it on a screen. I got to stand in a line to see if anybody else wants to see the tribute to Auntie Jenny. It's just stupid. I mean, how are you going to get rid of the tiles? Mr. D-Boy Deluxe, watching Damon on YouTube sure as hell beats watching Cowherd on TV at 11 a.m. Well, thank you very much. I mean, could you imagine? Here's what I would love. Here's what I would love, not even for me. I would love it for you. Can you just imagine if I had an entire network helping me out here and it wasn't me and Jillian sending emails to each other? I mean, can you imagine if I had an entire network backing me and I had a graphics department and I had producers and I had a budget and I had a studio? Oh my God, the show that I could do. Look at how good this show is. I'm doing it with like 3 lights and a cup of tea. Imagine if I had those resources. Michelle's right. Those tiles were expensive, right? Those tiles were really expensive. That's some bullshit. Tiger Tank says, doesn't Larry Bear have a say in what happens in the Giants ballpark? Not like he used to. Larry used to be a very influential figure and voice, and he is not quite that anymore. I mean, I don't know if it goes all the way back to him ripping the cell phone out of his wife's hand, but the Charles Johnson regime has come in here and has taken things over, and they have put their kind of signature on things, and everyone can't help but notice how much shittier everything seems to be. Little patience requested here by Chef A, saying, I think Bob Melvin's just trying to figure out different guys until he gets a little bit better at understanding of his players. Maybe Jung Hoo can get a strength coach for his arm strength. Maybe, but I mean, it's all early. I do know it's definitely not time to panic about anything we've seen in a Major League Baseball game. But yeah, the bullpen just it'll figure it out. They'll figure it out. Why don't the Giants copy what Disneyland does with their family tiles and put them in the pavement around McCovey Cove? Well, that's what they used to be. They used to be all along that wall that led out to McCovey Cove, and there's definitely ways to solve this. There's definitely ways to solve this that never included a kiosk. But the truth is, to solve it in the right way, what they probably did was they went in there and they just smashed the whole thing out. They tore it all out when they needed the new land, and they didn't they didn't take the tiles out carefully, so they were probably destroyed and damaged. And now it's the whole, like, what are you going to do? What would be the cheapest way to replace this? Well, do the whole digital kiosk thing. We can just have AI recreate all these tiles. But to actually have a tile recreated and then put somewhere, it's going to take money and effort and planning, and we'll see if they do that. Yeah, Irwin's like, why don't you just give the tiles back to the family and then re-etch them in a wall with their names? That's the thing. I think they might have broken up the original tiles. Do we know where they even are? But you're right here, rocking New Era. It's the truth. The Giants ownership has lost touch with the fan base and reality. There are touch points that they have absolutely let go of. And the things that you think matter really don't to a lot of fans. And the things that you'd think wouldn't matter really do. And they get it wrong more often than they've gotten it right lately. SF Indigo Co. Tea is the superior beverage. I'm sorry, maybe on the global trade scale it is, but I just tea. To me, here's coffee is football, tea is cross country. I just, I understand it's a breakfast beverage, but it ain't like the other one. Doesn't do it for me. Why don't A's players just go on strike? Wouldn't that be awesome? Wouldn't that be incredible if A's players looked around their work environment and just said, no, we refused to play another inning in all of these conditions, which are substandard to major league conditions, and let the owners figure all this. They've had 20 years to figure it out and they can't come up with anything. So maybe we'll help them kick the can on down the road by showing you how urgent it is. We're not playing anymore. Then I'm sure there'd be like, oh, well, then we're not paying you anymore. And then that's when guys go out and play again. Erwin, you're so right, by the way. Aramark is another reason not to eat at the park. Aramark is a food service company that prisons say don't do a good enough job. And the Giants brought them in. The Giants replaced Center Plate, which did a really good job, with a company that is known to treat its employees like shit, to serve an inferior product. And the only reason why they're doing it is because it's cheaper. That's it. The Giants are just trying to make sure that they get every single nickel out of every single transaction that they possibly can. And by the way, another thing that isn't just the sole property of a problem of the San Francisco Giants, but it's a problem that I have with everywhere. And I want a full-on revolt here. This whole credit card only, we don't take cash, that pisses me off. That pisses me. You don't have the right to not take my cash. It even says right on the dollar, this is to settle all debts in the United States. So from now on, if you're telling me you're not taking cash, I'm not paying for something by credit card and I'm taking the product with me. I'm offering a chance to pay. You're saying you're not taking cash? Well, then that's on you. This whole credit card only thing is a scam. They're not doing it for convenience. They're not doing it for safety. They're doing it because they've just leased the building right across from McCovey Cove to Visa. That's going to be Visa corporate headquarters. And every single time there's a cash transaction on a credit card, these credit card companies who have deals with Major League Baseball get a little piece of the action. This isn't for anyone's convenience. This is for credit card companies' profitability. That's all it is. That's all it is. I'm not buying crap on credit cards when I go to the ballpark. I take out a $20 bill. Here's my beer. Now, here's this. Are you going to take this for this? No. They say we don't accept cash. I walk away with the beer. Send security after me. I dare you. I'm not paying with a credit card if I have cash and want to pay in cash. And if you're saying you're not going to sell it to me, well, unfortunately, you already did. You already did. If that beer is in my hand, it's now mine. Ownership is 9/10 of the law. Anyone who works in the service industry knows how bad Aramark is. I used Aramark, old Dirty Hungus says, for linen service at a restaurant back in the day. I found a needle and used Band-Aids amongst the clean napkins. Yeah, that's kind of who they are. Mike Baker says, does anyone know the best place to sit at Levi's Stadium? Yeah, on your couch. The best place to sit at Levi's Stadium is your own home. Let's see. What else we got? Chef A. Again, she knows food service. Aramark sucks. Sure do. It's like they go out of their way to suck. Yeah. Can we keep Oakland International Airport? Oakland International Airport? Why are you trying to sneak San Francisco Bay into there? It's ridiculous. Rockin' New Era, you're so right. He's like, this is like when they called it the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Totally. It's just so stupid. How about this? Smiley Dan. The Oakland Honolulu Airport. Hey, we touched the same ocean. That's pretty good. Yeah, it's the McDonald's or the McDonald's. Yeah, totally. It's coming to America. It's not the Big Mac. It's the Big Mick. Seriously, like, who are these people? It's like the same group of idiots. It's the same group of idiots that were during the middle of the pandemic trying to change like all the names of the high schools in San Francisco. And we're like, oh, the name Abraham Lincoln is now offensive. Look, if the name Abraham Lincoln is offensive to you, sweetheart, you ain't going to make it in life. But, let's change it. And then they're like, just from a stationary standpoint, this is going to cost the city of San Francisco millions of dollars. You really want to do all this? And then they would think they flushed that entire school board made up of just dipshit moms who don't even know what's important. Michael. It would be like 95.7 The Game calling it the Damon Bruce Show with Willard and Dibbs. They'd probably get better ratings. But that's funny. That's funny. Again, how stupid is that? You guys want to rename the airport? Sure. All right, what do you want to rename it? Well, let's steal the name from the airport that sits right across the bay from it, and we'll just confuse everyone who's flying to the Bay Area. You want to do that? Yeah, let's do that. It's just so stupid. Michelle, thank you very much. Yeah, Kim Mulkey, completely outmatched in that game, completely wrapped around the axle from the jump, hollering at the top of her lungs, which made zero difference. Glad I got to see him get bounced. Again, you got a girl out here just cooking you. Do something. Do something. I know what poorly coached is, and that was poorly coached. Hello, SG Sports Talk Channel. It's good to see you. Hello, hello. Squeaky disco ball for MVP. There you go. Squeaky disco ball for MVP. Maybe that's what I should do. Maybe when I'm out, I should just get the squeaky disco ball to host the show. Damon, you don't need the studio. You got a tribe. That's right. Got the tribe over here. Represent. You would be unstoppable. JJ Raider, you know it, baby. Carl Kelsick. Oh, my God. There's a name from the past. Carl Kelsick. What is the over-under on this guy turning the Giants into the A's? Look, it seems like the Giants are doing everything they can to cut operational costs, to become cheaper internally, to be more profitable by screwing over your hardworking best employees and your own customers. Whose business model does that sound like? Whose business model does that sound like? Again, we are going to have people betting against him. JJ saying, Carl, this is what I'm predicting is going to happen when the A's leave. The Giants are just going to become cheap as fuck because they'll have the whole Bay Area media rights to themselves. I mean, they kind of had that anyways, right? I mean, even though the A's have a media deal, no one's paying attention to them anyways. One should have nothing to do with the other. I mean, is there any team in baseball trying to be more like the Oakland A's other than the San Francisco Giants? That's gross, isn't it? Rick Mighty Bone Feliciano says, Damon, it's obvious LSU spent more time and mental energy on walking away from the anthem, consequently taking their eye off the ball, literally. So did that happen? Here's what I can tell you about any national anthem protests. You're 5 years too late. I don't give a shit anymore. I don't care. I don't care. I'd like to congratulate sports. You've even ruined the national anthem. I don't care anymore. I don't care what anyone does during the national anthem. Sit, stand, blink, do jumping jacks, put your thumb up your ass. I don't care anymore. I don't care anymore. Again, I gotta pick and choose the things in my life that are gonna, offend me or bother me. And a song, no matter what song it is never gonna be one of them again. I'm never going to let a song bother me. I've made that choice as an adult. No song will bother me except for Baby Shark. That shit gets under my skin real fast. Luckily, that's very 5-10 years ago. Don't run into it nearly as much as I thought I would. Don't call me during the show. How dare you? So there we go. I think we got everything you needed to get into today. There we go. Just call the airport the Ricky Henderson Airport. That's the best idea I've heard all day here. What about the Ricky Henderson Airport? There you go. Where are you flying? I'm flying into the Ricky. Flying into the Ricky. All right. Mike, summing things up here. We don't always say intelligent things, but we are special. Mike, indeed. Indeed. You are special. And there he is. We've officially decided from now on, the Oakland Airport will be known as the Ricky Henderson International Airport. You can call it the Rick for short. We're flying into, going into the Rick. There it is. Solving problems, taking names, solving problems, cashing checks, snapping necks. Go to the Dubliner, get a Guinness, get a 420 from Mike. Or no, it's called the THC. Get one of those. Stop pretending that LSU Iowa game was a very, very, very special sporting event. We'll never think of it again now that it's over. I can tell you that. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for being here and thinking this is special. It means an awful lot to me that you do. And I'll tell you what, we'll be back at 8:30 a.m. with a little wake up. Yours truly and Larry Krueger. We'll have an 11 o'clock show for you as well on Wednesday. On Thursday, we're going to have Maury Brown stopping on by from Forbes. We're going to have hopefully a Trayce Jackson Davis sighting coming up soon. And we're getting closer and closer to the NFL draft, which means our attention is going to start turning there as well. So thank you so much for tuning in and being a part of this, because we couldn't do it without you. That's why it breaks my heart to let you know that you don't have to go home. You just can't stay here.